Before I get started with this commentary, let me give a shout out to my Kim for sending this post to me. Now, I'm not going to jump the gun into why she sent it to me because I'm going to lead into that once I examine through what's being talked about here. And this, again, is piggybacking off of the whole Joe Rogan situation. And I'm calling this, and this is a bed bucking video, I'm calling this examining the scholarly bed bucking. You know, the ones with the degrees who think they know everything and think they can be the spokesman for black people as a whole, and how, you know, PC people love them because they say things that they agree with, and PC hides behind them like a shield. And I'm gonna touch on that part too. So in this video you have John H. McWhorter, who is this guy right here, and Glenn Lowry, who is this guy right here. And right here you can see in the caption, it says part 2, Joe Rogan and his spoken N-word references. At John H. McWhorter, call these hysterically enacted pretenses of injury from the usual suspects perform delicacy. I'm less kind. Wailing at merely hearing the word nigger, regardless of context, is a pathetic sign of weakness. Now, keep in mind these key words right here, because this is actually piggybacking off of a video that I just recently did. So I'm going to go ahead and play it, and we'll just go through.
I mean, I think this policing of the spoken sounds nigger and saying you can't say that is a pathetic expression of weakness.
Now, usually I'll let the thing play out and then I'll just stop. But because the video is 2 minutes and 12 seconds long, and I have some other things that I have to touch on in this video, and I don't want this video to be too long, but something tells me it might drag a little bit, you know, because I'm getting hit in key points. It is what it is, but I'm not going to do the playthrough and then come back, especially since this video is 2 minutes and 12 seconds. It's not like it's a minute. So he says that, let me go back a little bit.
It's a policing of the spoken sounds nigger and saying you can't say that is a pathetic expression of weakness.
Now listen to that. He said the spoken sounds of the word nigger is a pathetic expression of weakness. He said it's a pathetic. So basically what he's saying is black people should stop being upset or stop being mad whenever we hear this word. And that's coming from anybody. Even like, so basically it's almost like how it was during Jim Crow, when that word just flew off the rails towards black people and black people just had to deal with it. And now that black people are not dealing with it anymore, people are upset. And you have these two buffoons up here who are saying black people need to stop being mad about it because it shows that you're weak. Meanwhile, you can't call any other group a slur, whatever slur they deem to be a slur, without backlash. And they're okay with that. But see, here's the thing. Like I've always said, black people are an easy target to go after because we don't have any type of power structure in place to make people suffer consequences. So they go after us like bullies would do to people who don't fight back. And the minute that we do, then that's when they up the ante. But you have bootlicks like these two that are giving these people passes. And that's why they love them. And you'll see what I mean as we continue.
It's petulant. It's like grabbing the microphone from a speaker whose argument you just can't bear to hear. There's no power in it whatsoever. There's no real power. There's no wealth in it.
So he's saying there's no power in it. There's no wealth in that word or no power behind that word. So why are we upset behind it? Because it's a slur. See, this is why a lot of black people who do stuff, who videos like the ones I do, probably have to do or take blood pressure pills because of people like this. These are the type of people that Harriet Tubman had to take care of, quote unquote, in order to get her people free. These are the type of people that would have ran back to Massa and told them what was going on. And this is the kind of person, like in The Birth of a Nation, the one about Nat Turner, done by Nate Parker, who ran and told Massa about the slave revolts, and it got thwarted. They fought as hard as they could, but they were outnumbered. They were outgunned. This is him right here. But he said there's no power in it and there's no wealth behind the word. So why should we be upset behind it? So basically what he's saying is, if the only way we should be mad about it is if it had wealth and power behind that word. Why would you want to put wealth and power behind a slur?
There's no entrepreneurship in it. There's no educational mastery in it. There's no fixing any broken family in it. There's no solving a crime problem in it. All it is throwing a tantrum. I'm weak. I'm black. You said the N-word. Oh my God. Oh my God.
And see that right there? You see what, and these are the so-called educated individuals. You see how he's talking? I would not want to be educated by someone like that. I would not sit in someone's class who talked like that or spoke like that to his students. Like, this guy is black himself and he's making a mockery of the situation. These are your Oreos right here. These are your Oreos. And he's making a complete and utter mockery of black people's plight. And saying that it should not be taken seriously. It's just supposed to be seen as a joke. We're supposed to just deal with it and take it. And like I said, these are the type of people that PC love. I always tell you, when PC love, when they big up people like this, you have to be wary of them. These are the type of people you don't want to be around because you already know what type of time they on.
It's pathetic.
It is. It's performed delicacy. And there's been such an uptick in that on that word over the past about 15 years. And I just don't get how anybody can say they're a strong person and engage in that performance of allowing white people that power. People are going to keep on uttering it for various reasons. And we've got this popular music that's full of it.
There it is. That's what I was waiting on. I knew they was going to go in that direction because that's a major talking point that PC and apparently their co-colonizing cohorts love to use. Well, it's said in the songs, so why are people so upset behind it? Well, here's the thing. In those songs, I highly doubt they're even saying it with the ER, which is the more extreme version of that word. As a matter of fact, I don't know too many black people that even go around calling another black person with the ER. Those just switch it out to the A. But see, here's the thing. They said, well, they call each other that, then why can't we do it? Well, the thing is, I'm sure there's probably other groups of people who call each other their slurs, but we ain't going to go around and call them that because they're not going to allow it. Just like we're not going to allow it when they do it. But see, black people, because we have no power structure in America, it's easier to target us. We are an easy target. That's another reason why they don't want to give us reparations, because then that will bump us up in a big way on the power structure, on the power totem pole. See, they have to keep us in a position where we are beneath everyone else in order for them to feel elevated. And a lot of times it's because they're standing on our neck and our back in order to do it. But I knew he was going to hit the music part because that's their go-to argument. That's why I said that when they do these little circle jerk conversations like this, it's quite boring because it's the same talking point over and over and over again. I'm telling you, PC eats this kind of stuff up. They eat it up. They love this.
And you decide that anytime you hear this word said by anybody but a black man from the street, you're going to, go crawling into a corner. It's a performance. It's not real. Nobody cognitively whole truly feels that way.
So basically what he's saying is that if black people don't call out when other black people say the word, why are we getting mad when other people say it, and that we're not being realistic and that we're performing? So basically he's saying we're expressing fake outrage. We're putting on a theater play. We're putting on like a little piece, a little whatever. He's saying we're not being serious about this, so why are we getting upset? Basically, what these two clowns, like I said, are doing is trying to allow PC or any other group of people to use that word and saying black people have no right to get upset. Listen, I'm gonna say it like this. These two right here, they better stay in their own little enclaves. And notice that a lot of times when people say stuff like this, they say it from behind a computer screen whether they're typing something up or whether they're on a stream or what like they are right now, they will never actually get in front of a group of black people and actually say this. They'll say, but they will get in front of a group of white people and say it, because this is who they're talking to. They're not talking to black people, at least those of sound mind. They're not talking to us. They are talking to PC. And like I said, when I'm done going through this video, we're going to go through some of these quoted comments and you'll see exactly what I mean.
It's something that black people teach each other, and it really needs to stop.
And see, here's the thing. That's another thing. This is another thing that pisses me off. They always say, well, if black people stop calling each other the N-word, then it'll go away. It doesn't go away. For instance, let's say, hypothetically speaking, the N-word stops being uttered today. It just stops cold turkey. No one says it anymore, no matter what ethnicity background you are. Do they really think systemic oppression will go away with it? No, because racism does not begin or end with that word. It doesn't. It's much deeper than that. And to black people, y'all really need to like tighten it up with that, because a lot of black people unfortunately think the same thing, that racism begins and ends with that word. It does not. It's much, much, much more deeper than that. Racism came before that word. That word actually came a little bit later. Much later, as a matter of fact. It's not the oldest or the newest, but it's somewhere in between. Because at the end of the day, it is a slur. And we know what that word means. And when it comes from who it comes from, we know that it means a whole much more, is a whole lot deeper than when another black person would say. And again, I don't know any black person personally that would say it with the ER. But see, they think that if you just stop saying the word, that racism go away. That's not how this works. That's not how is it that I'm able to explain this better than these two individuals who probably got more degrees than a thermometer?
Your thing. We have other things to do. Go ahead.
Yeah, no, we're going to conclude here. I just want to reiterate something you said earlier, which is we are not talking about the use of the word as a slur, where you call someone an Nigger, like you call them a Kike, or you call them an SPIC, or you call them an MICK. We're not saying it.
Yeah, and
we're not approving of the use of the word in that way.
And the damnedest thing is that there's a kind of person who will listen to what you and I are saying and say that they're condoning the use of the N-word. They're condoning the use of the N-word, actually pretending to think that that's what we're saying. God, that one makes me sick.
His voice annoys me. That annoys me. Now, notice at the end they said that you're trying to say that that we're condoning the use of the N-word, and that's not what we're saying. I couldn't tell. See, here's the thing. They were saying that, but then they tried to clean it up at the end to try to say, oh, that's not. They can try to pull this crap with PC or some of these brain dead Negroes out here, but they can't pull the wool over my eyes. So we're going to just ignore the first minute and a half before they went and tried to say, we're not saying that we're, telling people to condone, this word. That's not what we're saying. But I bet you that's probably what they're thinking. No, that's what you said. That's what you did. Now, I don't know where part one of this is, but that's besides the point. We got all we needed out of this one with part two. Now, what I'm going to go ahead and do is I'm going to go through some of these quoted tweets and you'll see the pattern of what I mean. So here's one right here. A perfect example. God bless you both. Thank you. A PC woman. This one says, there's always going to be that one who is very stupid, and Glenn, you're that stupid one. Shame on you. Someone says, Glenn really does keep me sane during these times, if you say so. This one says, hysterically enacted pretenses of injury. Keep in mind that the group who uses the word the most is also the group which murders its own group the most. So this is a PC person hiding behind this whatever, and they're basically trying to go with the black on black crime narrative. It's called proximity crime, which PC does extremely well themselves. Let's continue. It says, some black men are the new white supremacists. This one says part two, they're tagging Joe Rogan because that's exactly who they were talking about in Spotify. This one says, here you go, snowflakes, a reasonable and intelligent discussion, another PC individual. This one says, someone says a word you don't like, so what? PC. There are other opinions. This one says exactly right. PC. It's not a word I use, and in my opinion, there is never a need to use this word, but I understand his point. We can't let words become so important that they can be used to divide us. We need to unite. We are all one. We are all equal in God's eyes. A PC woman. They said this cornball probably doesn't have any black friends. Send Buddy Sammy number so he can get some of that skin bleaching cream. Black skin people like this and abroad is why we can't thrive. They said sticks and stones may break my bones, but words can never hurt me. It says whenever, as a black man, you only have white people agreeing with you, you really should reevaluate whatever you just said. And that's the thing. They're not going to. They're going to keep talking like this because that's who they want as their audience. That's who they want. Let's see. And here's my post right here. And I'm going to come back to that. This one says Sith Lords and coons are always in twos. This one says this is embarrassing. There are, like I said, there were some black people in there that did come back, at them. This one says you should listen to these two. PC. It says it's a stupid entitlement people think they have. Winning or losing this battle is joyless. They say, as they say, not all skin folk are kinfolk. Also, looking at the comments, it's very interesting to see that most people who agree with these two are a certain color. This one says, When I look at the quoted retweets and I see who agrees, all I can do is laugh. So see, like I said, whenever PC as a majority is agreeing with talking points like this, that's who they're talking to. They weren't talking to black people. They were talking to PC. But I'm going to go ahead and stop right here because it's one particular tweet that I wanted to highlight. And it's not because of what the person said, but it's because of who it came from. Well, look at who it is. The person I just spoke about, Gad Saad. And he remembered the post that I went in on him about recently. This was posted after that. Actually on February 7th, because remember, he made his Twitter post on the 5th. So this was on the 7th. He said, this is precisely the point that I've made. I guess these two gentlemen are racist white supremacists. See, he thought he was doing something here again when he posted this because people was going in on him and probably most likely still are on his original post in which I went in on him. But this one didn't quite hit the same either. So let's go to his quoted tweets. And it says, it's sad that a professor isn't known for his work, so he decided to be stupid and try to dismiss what black people went through and still going through to gain popularity. Shame on you. This one says, I guess these two gentlemen are racist white supremacists. From a 50 Shades of Beige standpoint, they're the same color as Larry Elder, a known white supremacist. And that looks like that same clown from earlier. They says, wow, how did you manage to find a spokesman of the African diaspora? They're usually so busy during this month. Do you have their contacts? I just feel the world is ready to hear our collective minds through two individuals. Senseless. And this is a very good point right here. And I'm glad this person said this because whenever you have a couple of idiots like the two I just talked about say and utter words like this, you had PC come out in droves and says, oh, these are some amazing black leaders. These are some good black people. They are great. They are excellent. Let's put them on a t-shirt. Let's put them on some currency. Let's make them the vice president, the president of the United States. Let's make them mayor, senator. They try to give them all this praise and everything because they say the talking points that they want to say, but can't say out of fear that someone's going to call them Dub S. That is exactly why Dub S are some cowards. They hide behind these shields, these black colored Oreoed shields, because they aren't strong enough to say whatever it is they want themselves. And speaking of strong and strengths and weaknesses, one thing that I forgot to mention about this Gad Saad was while he censored the N-word when he put in that tweet because he didn't have the balls to type it out, he also censored the F-word. Now, if you remember in that original tweet, he said effing, but he only put F and then put the asterisk for the other letters until he got to the N and put the N at the end. So this man talk about weakness and he didn't even type out a word that would not have gotten censored on here. But he had all that smoke for black people and then said, we're weak. But that's pretty much all I have when it comes to these two clowns right here and this individual right here. Y'all let me know what y'all think about this down in the comments. Like, share, subscribe. If you are new, make sure you hit that bell to be notified every time I upload a new video or go live.